Welcome, Iowans for Freedom. I had an interesting call this morning from a friend whose husband recently passed away. She said that they put COVID on his death certificate and she was working with them to get it removed because that wasn't his cause of death. And that she had been told that she would get a $9,000 check from FEMA if it was on his death certificate, which she is not interested in, which really speaks volumes of her values. I mean, who wouldn't? You have somebody, a loved one, pass away, and you have tons of funeral expenses, and you get their certificate, and it says COVID was the cause. And even though it wasn't, would someone say, "Okay, sure, I'll take the $9,000"? I'm sure that happens, but I she said she posted something about it and people didn't believe her. I'm not an investigative reporter. We have lots of things to talk about when it comes to the vaccine mandates in Iowa and the federal judge that overturned or didn't overturn but put a temporary stay on our mask prohibition law in Iowa. But this really kind of I want to say it grabbed me because I thought, holy cow, are people getting paid? Really getting paid for having COVID on their loved one's death certificate. So, of course, I went to DuckDuckGo and I'm going to pull this, I'm going to share my screen with you. And I found an article on it. A FEMA program will pay up to $9,000 for each COVID-19 funeral. Here's how you can apply. Let's just go right to the FEMA website. FEMA to help pay for funeral costs for COVID-19 related deaths. Let's see, how do you qualify? You don't have to be a U.S. citizen. There can be more than one applicant. I'm not sure I'm not sure I understand this. This assistance is limited to a maximum financial amount of $9,000 per funeral and a maximum of $35,500 per applicant. So maybe if it was, well, I was going to say if it was a car crash and a couple family members passed away, but surely they wouldn't label a car crash as COVID. Let's just call them. Let's just call them. There's a phone number. And I already put it in here, so I knew I was going to do this. So let's call FEMA. I'm curious.
You have reached the Federal Emergency Management Agency's COVID-19 Funeral Assistance Helpline. To continue in English, press 1 or say English.
Para
English.
continuar en español.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance purposes. Hello, I am FEMA's intelligent virtual agent for COVID-19 funeral assistance. I can help you with COVID-19 funeral assistance and COVID-19 related questions. You can say things like, I want to apply. How do I submit documents? I need help with my application. What is the fax number? Or say, unrelated to COVID.
I need help with my documents.
I didn't understand. Can you please rephrase that?
I need help with my documents.
I still didn't understand.
Speak to
Let
a
me see if
representative.
someone is available to assist you.
Good morning. Thank you for calling FEMA's COVID-19 Funeral Assistance Line. This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance purposes. My name is Ron, and my ID number is 729-3268. How may I assist you today?
Thank you, Ron. I just wanted to ask about the program. Is it still available, the funding for funeral expenses?
Yes, sir, it still is. It's currently going through February of 2022.
Okay. And all that really is required is that COVID is listed on the death certificate.
Correct.
Okay. And now if it'll cover up to, is it $9,000 per funeral?
$9,000 per deceased. Correct.
Okay. And then it says 35,500 per applicant. So if more than one person passed.
Correct. That's up to four decedents.
Okay. All right. So it can be done right online, can it? At your website?
No, sir, you would not be able to register online for funeral assistance. That registration is done over the telephone.
Oh, it is? Okay. All right. So, um, as far as, are there any specific requirements besides the COVID listing?
That would be the only specific requirement. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for calling, sir. You have a good day.
You too.
If you do have any other questions, please feel free to give us a call. Again, the number is 844-684-6333, and we're here Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, my name is Ron, and my ID number is 729-3268.
All right. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Wow. So it's true. It's true. So, if you unfortunately did have someone pass away from COVID and needed help with the funeral expenses, then it sounds pretty easy. You don't have to be a citizen. There are really no requirements, just the listing on the death certificate. And it sounds like, according to our good friend, that people are getting the listing whether they ask for it or not, whether it was, in her case, whether it was a COVID death or not. So it's true. People, not just hospitals, not just medical facilities, but the general public is getting paid as well, if their family member is listed as a COVID death. So there you have it. Anyway, I just wanted to check on that. When you hear something like that, you don't believe it. I had a friend tell me that his friend's daughter, who had type 2 diabetes and was overweight, had a heart attack, and they had listed as a COVID death, and that they were involved in a lawsuit to get the listing off the death certificate. And, you hear that, okay, my friend's daughter, and you hear things like that all the time. But when I have a friend call me that is, a very, someone that I really respect and know is very honest and an honest Christian, I guess, and say, hey, they're trying to list my husband's death as COVID. It wasn't COVID related. They sent the death certificate. I'm struggling with them to get it rectified because I don't want to be a part of that. She's turning down this money, which she would qualify, and she would get $9,000 check just to leave that on the certificate. It just makes you wonder how many thousands and thousands and thousands of people across the country have had to deal with this. So something to think about today. Now, if you are, struggling with your school board, I believe tonight there's a protest at Waukee outside the administration building. We'll post something about that. Some other parents and I went to a school board meeting Wednesday night. And it was good that we did, because there were a couple ladies there in masks that were painting this doom and gloom picture, saying that we should be masking our kids tomorrow. And, the superintendent, and at the meeting, or during the meeting, 7 of us spoke that didn't plan on speaking. There were probably 9 or 10 of us there. other parents. And during the meeting, they brought up the return to learn plan, and they had only had the superintendent brought up the data, and he said, well, we've only had 2 cases. There's no more kids out sick this year or this time of year than there has been in previous years, the 2 previous years to last year. So he said, I can't see recommending that we change course when the data shows that it's just a normal school year. Luckily, right now, we have a few board members that are steadfast in their resolve not to mask the kids. And so we're okay for now. But even being okay, board members or the boards need to be attended every week. People need to be supported that have good conservative values that are running for school board. We ironically, the last school board election, there was 1 person running. This school board election, we have 8 people running. So I think this whole thing has caused us to wake up about our local elections and our local seats, whether it's city council or school boards. So I'll say what I said in a post. If we have to resist this until that order that federal judge put on, that temporary hold on our law, we have to resist the schools that are jumping up and using this as a political statement. And that's what it is. I mean, 4 or 5 days or a month or 2 months, the law should be back into effect. It was completely unjustified. It was a judge that had been reprimanded for making inflammatory political statements publicly about Trump, which a judge is supposed to be unbiased and non-biased and non-political. And he just, there were 2 suits. One was dismissed, and then this federal judge who is obviously does not like Trump, does not like conservative values, ruled to have a temporary hold on our law that our governor and our legislators put together to protect our kids. So Stephen Holt assured us that we would win in court. The state's already filed an appeal. So all the, West Des Moines, all these schools that are jumping on board saying, oh, now we can, go against what our governor and our Iowa Department of Health wants us to do because of what that judge did. They're jumping on. It's a political statement. It's temporary. So we have to resist that. And we resist that by doing what people are doing in Waukee and Ankeny, going to board meetings, speaking out, taking your kids to school and escorting them in without a mask and just saying, hey, we're not going to participate in this again. Way, way, way too many studies that show the harms of masking kids all day and very little, if any, benefit. So stay strong. We will keep up the good fight and have a blessed day. We'll see you next time.